What's happening? It's your top dollar JayHooray, because it's a celebration when you see me. I want to appreciate y'all for tuning into the Life Lab, where we have many discussions, conversations, heart to heart, all that good stuff there. I want to appreciate y'all's eyes, ears, and attention, because it could have been anywhere else, but instead it's right here with me. And I so very much appreciate that. Okay, now, today's video is a build up on last video I dropped about patience. So we dove in a little deeper just to get an understanding of patience. And this video, I can't leave y'all high and dry. So I'm going to give y'all 6 helpful ways to deal with patience and to gain that patience. Okay? Now, these 6 things are habits that I implement in my life on a daily basis that helps me with my patience, because I was struggling with patience as well. We all do. We got times you ready to explode and blow up like a bomb. But these 6 helpful ways will help that patience and get you a little bit more calmer. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dive into it, okay? Now, the first helpful habit is deep breathing. Okay? If you ever find yourself in a situation where you're getting overwhelmed, frustration about to creep on up, come up out that chimney and explode, take a deep breath. Take a woo-sigh. I'll take one with y'all. We'll take one on 3, 2, 1. Don't that feel nice? I feel good already. Now, imagine that you're in a situation where patience is about to leave, you about to explode. You take that second and take that deep breath. You put everything back calm, You slow your heart rate. Slow that blood boiling, You get everything back to how it's supposed to. Calm, cool, and collected. So taking deep breaths while you about to, when you're about to lose that patience will help out tremendously. Okay. Now, the second helpful habit that I implement in my life that I feel like will help you guys is, if you're in a situation where you're about to lose it, about to lose your cool, take a moment and try to find something funny. Try to find something funny to laugh at. It's something to laugh at in any situation. I don't care what situation you're in, you can find something to laugh at. If you can't find nothing to laugh at in the situation, think of a happy moment. Think of something back in the day, an embarrassing moment, what I mean? Or one of your favorite comedians, anything. Try to find something funny to laugh at. And that'll help you out, because you're switching that energy from anger to happy, and that will calm you down in a moment. You know what I mean? Just find something to laugh at. Because when you think about it, patience isn't nothing but just a test, God's sending you a test just to see if you're going to pass. You know what I mean? So laughing at it, smiling your way through, knowing that it's a test, knowing that you're going to pass, it feels much better than exploding. You feel me? Now, the third helpful habit is zooming out and looking at the bigger picture, looking at everything in a broad sense. You know what I'm saying? So you be in a lot of situations where the situation isn't as big as you think. Think to yourself, all right, I'm going through this today. It's raining. I ain't got no umbrella. My hair getting wet, clothes getting wet. Okay. But think to yourself, ask yourself, will this matter 2 months from now? Now, if it ain't gonna matter 2 months from now, 90 days from now, a year from now, then why are you tripping? It's a moment. Life is all about moments. There's no such thing as a bad day. It's a bad moment. If you let that bad moment linger on throughout your whole day, then you already lost. Okay? So looking at that broad picture, looking at everything wider, on a wide perspective, will help out so much. Now, the fourth helpful tip is slowing down your movement. Sometimes we get in a rush, we rush in. Let's say you got somewhere to be at 8:30 and you woke up at 7:45. You got to brush your teeth, take a shower, then you rushing. Instead of rushing, start slowing down your movement. Start walking slow. You know, start thinking slow. Start moving your hands slow. I know it seems silly, but it's putting you back in control. You know, you're slowing down your movement, slowing down your heart rate, slowing down your breath, slowing down your thought process. Everything is beginning to slower. You know, so that would definitely help out, you know, when you feeling like anxiety or, you know, you feeling like you moving like a rabbit. Start slowing it down. Just slow down all your movements and watch how and see how that helps. I had a bad habit of talking fast, you know. So I had a guy tell me, hey man, you know, to be able to slow down. So slow down your talking. If you think you're talking slow, talk even slower. Like, dang, okay. But then when you come to think about it, if you speeding through talking real fast, that means you're not really confident in what you're saying, you know. Sometimes you gotta let that thing seep on in. You gotta let it seep through the pores. You know, you gotta let it marinate a little bit. You know, you can't be going too fast. You gotta let that thing marinate. Let them grasp what you're saying. You know, taking your time, slowing your movement down. Now, the fifth helpful tip that helps me out tremendously, and I think it would be a help for you guys, is pausing before you respond. Okay, I had a bad habit of this too. You know, I'm a quick, witty. You know, you say something, I say something back, I snap back, right? But it wasn't until, you know, I was hurting people's feelings, you know, people looking at me like I'm mean, you know, getting called an asshole, you know, they was, you know, I didn't like that feeling, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, dang, I'm just responding. But when you take that moment to pause and then respond, you're going to more than likely say the right thing, you know? So somebody say something to you, you ugly, pause for a second. Now, if you pause for a second and say they ugly back, then salute. At least you paused. You thought about it. It's all about, you know, putting yourself back in control. You know, you taking control of the moment. Pause and then respond. Okay. Now, the sixth helpful way to help that patience is actually, I think, probably one of the best ways to help it is narrating what's going on. You know what I mean? So, like, you're acting like you're the storyteller. You're writing your own story. Okay. To give you an example, right? Let's say you at Foot Locker and it's a long line because some new shoes and dropped, some new balances, some fly joints, you know, hard to get, right? Rare. So you stand in the line and you at the end of the line. Okay. So your patience is already running a little thin. Okay. Then let's say you get to the beginning of the line, the front of the line now, and they ran out of New Balances. I know you ready to spaz out, right? Instead of spazzing out or exploding, narrate, okay? Tell yourself, okay, all right, I'm feeling upset. I am impatient right now. I'm about to lose my cool, right? Now, it may sound silly, but what you're doing is you're putting the control back in your hands. You know, you taking control of the life instead of life taking control of you. You know, you're subconsciously telling yourself, all right, I'm in control. You know, and then when you narrate yourself, you creating your own story. But when you narrating your story, you ain't gonna put yourself in a bad position. You ain't gonna put yourself in a worse position, right? You're gonna put yourself in a good position. So narrate your story. If you ever feeling upset or anything like that, you losing patience, narrate how you feeling. And that take a lot of emotional discipline and emotional understanding, that you got to know yourself for that one. Okay. But once you start narrating how you feeling, start narrating your own life. And life is a canvas at that point. You paint your own picture. Okay. Now, those are 6 helpful ways that will help your patience. I implement all of those on a daily basis, and my patience went from thin to big. Okay, I'm a lot more patient. I can still work on patience for sure. It's just some situations where I lose my cool. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say that for story time though. But it's an ongoing practice. So implement these into your life and watch how your patience change for the better. Okay. But I want to appreciate y'all for tuning in with your top dollar JayHooray. Spread some love today, okay? Find somebody to help, all right? Peace, love, and prosperity. I holla.